Because coconut needs water, not waterlog. Waterlog will not help, but there must be water year round.
How many coconut trees do you think averagely or standardly I can have on an acre?
People assume that the more crops you have on one in a particular area, the better it is.
It doesn't work out like that. Especially in Ghana, we say it will be best for people watching as well to go to coconut farming to go and get their seedlings from.
The most important thing about some of these investments is that if you don't know, you are not sure, please don't go and make a mistake, because a mistake done today will be waiting for you maybe 5 years to come, and at that time you've really wasted your investment.
So welcome back to another exciting farming week in Ghana. To your first time seeing me, I'm Charles. Now this channel talk about farming and agriculture here in Ghana. We are still on a Jumbo's farm. Yes, where we are speaking to Mr. Nicholas. We first spoke with him to know how the farm started, how the journey began, and he being into farming and all that conversation. We also had the farm tour, and when we went around the farm with him, looking at the cocoa farm, the coconut farming, and finally the fish farm where he did both catfish and tilapia. And then we are going to look at how to start a coconut farm. If you're a beginner, I don't want to venture into coconut farming. What and what do you need to know before you go into it? Right from, like, let's say the land stage to the point where you don't have to do much work so you harvest. And that's what we're going to learn about this video. So before we get into it, make sure you like this video for me. Like so it to promote to other viewers. Subscribe to the channel so we all grow together. The goal is to reach 100,000 subscribers before the year ends. So please, if you're watching this, we are close. So subscribe in front of this awesome from me. Alright, for that much I do, let's jump right into it. It's Nicholas. So really you want to look at coconut farming. Since you have much experience about it, I want to learn from you. If someone is watching us, have been inspired by our earlier conversations and they want to go into coconut farming, what and what do they need to know before they venture into it?
Okay, all right. So if you want to venture into coconut farming, the first and foremost, you need to have a land. Your land must be within the certain zone or belt. Okay, doing it in Ghana means that the southern part of the country, possibly to the middle part. If you want to do it in the northern part of Ghana, then your location must be a place where there is water. Because coconut needs water, not waterlog. Waterlog will not help, but there must be water year round. Otherwise, the yield will not be good. Okay. So if you are within the rainforest area, you are lucky. Once you have the land, acquiring the land is a whole area in its own. There are different types of land ownership in Ghana, and you need to understand which one you are going for. You could have a lease, you could have a rent, and you could have a freehold, depending on where you are getting it from. You need to be careful and also understand the land issues in Ghana. There are some lands that are considered stool land. Okay, and there's stool land. If you are going for stool land, be careful not to get into a different arrangement, because you can easily be tricked to believe that you can have that land. And because if it's a stool land, it means that it belongs to a family or a community, and the chief is just a caretaker. It doesn't belong to him. He could give it to you on lease. So you work on it. After certain years, it comes back to the store. You could also have what they normally term uh, you you do the farm and then you divide. They call the albusa albunu, depending on where you are.
So like you go with a river with the owners of the land. They give it to you. We plant it. Once it's ready, they take half.
Yeah, they take part. You also take part, depending on the arrangement you have. So all these things has to be looked at carefully. It is a land that um, certainly every land you will pay for something. Make sure that you have a receipt, you have your documentation. The documentation will depend on you and then the owner. But what I can say is that most um, landowners that will give you the land, for sure, if they will give you documentation, it will be very few. Most of it, you will have to do the documentation. So documentation will start with your site plan, with your indenture. You need to make sure that you have a receipt for what you have paid for. You have to do all this to make sure that you don't run into litigation in the future. If you want to extend your documentation further, you can go to Lands Commission uh, and Land Survey, the survey department. Survey department, what they do, they will map out your land and then document it as it is on the map, so that anyone who comes later to claim ownership will not be able to take it away from you. Lands Commission, you can register your land, or you can even go further and acquire the title for it. So it all depends on you, the individual, and then the one who is selling. So once you get the land, the next thing is to clear it. And the clearing of the land, you have to time the season. During the dry season, that's when clearing is done. If you start your clearing during the rainy season, certainly you'll encounter difficulties. So in my for example, I start the clearing process from about November, December, and make sure that by end of March or beginning of April, it's all done. And to clear a land, you certainly need the laborers. Prices vary from place to place. Some places, they will tell you 1 pole. The 1 pole, there's no measurement, but for me, I always negotiate to approximate it to the acre. But the pole in many places, when they say pole, is less than the acre. Okay, and some places they could charge you anything from say 300 or 350 Ghana cedis. Um, Recently, I was told in some places they even charge like 800. Hey, per pool. Yeah, per pool. But clearing the land, you have to plan for 3 stages. First of all, they will some people will come, they will weed the grass and the small plants in the farm. There's what you call trees. They're small ones. In most cases, ideally, those who are clearing the small plants should be with in addition, but they will leave it for you. So you will have to find another group, possibly to clear that one. And then what they are done, the big trees in it, you also have to clear it. And these ones, The unfortunate thing about those two additional stages is that there is no fixed price. So we have to negotiate with them, and then I agree. So by the time you finish clearing, you'll probably be looking per acre. You'll probably be counting towards 800, 900 per acre. But when you are done, then you have to then, ideally, when you are preparing land for farm, you shouldn't bend the bush. But if the bush you cleared is not bent, it makes it difficult for you to cultivate anything. If you want to do, then you need to make more time for it. But the yields or the outcome when you have no bend the trees or the bush is far better than if you bend the bush. So if you are going to bend, certainly if you can't do it yourself, you have to have laborers who will do that for you. So you need to also plan a budget for that. But I also come help you bend it. Well, normally they have something they call by day. The by day, it also keeps jumping. When I started, what they call by day, a day, I think they were charging around 20 Ghana, but now, in some places they are charging over 80 Ghana cedis. So it's all about negotiation and then how to get it. Then when you have cleared, you need to have your pegging done. So if you don't know the pegging, then you have to have an expert. It's important to peg so that you can have them in rows and columns nicely arranged. The important thing about those pegging is that we have to make sure that the positioning of the coconut will not affect one coconut will not affect the other, because when the shadow of coconut fall on another coconut, it affects growth and then the production. So you have to make sure that the shadow from the one coconut will not fall on another coconut. So you need to make sure it's properly done. And normally what they do is you peg from your baseline is taken from south to north, and your pegging is done along the west east or east west direction. That one you get it neatly done. But please, you are not familiar with these things, try and get the expert to help you, or you can go for training so that you have the hands-on. Otherwise, if you follow this YouTube, you may not understand it well. You go and do something, and the most painful thing is that for coconut, the worst case scenario, you make mistake, you only discover this 5 years after.
Oh, okay.
It will be very painful to it will be difficult for you to reverse and correct it. So please make sure that you get it right from the beginning. So when you are done with the pegging,
Okay, so before we go to the pegging, let me just interrupt that bit. So you said initially, if you are looking of going into coconut farming, take around the southern part of Ghana to plant them. So that it needs more water. That's why you're doing that. And coconuts cannot be grown anywhere in Ghana unless around those belts.
yeah, there is a you know the rainfall pattern in Ghana. the southern part is normally considered the forest area because of the rainfall. It rains more in the south than in the northern part, and that's why we have the differences in the vegetation. So it can grow in the northern parts, but you need to support it with water to get, or if you are in the northern part, you have to target along the river bodies or waterlogged areas. But if you just ordinarily move into any land just to cultivate coconuts, you will have a difficulty. Every zone and what the plant that it do well. And normally, if you enter a land, look at the trees and the plants that you find in the area. Those that are doing well, certainly, naturally, that's what will do well there.
Yeah.
For example, you are contemplating whether you want to do coconut or you want to do oil palm farm. You have the land. We get to the land. There's a lot of oil palm trees in the area. For me, there's no argument. That's what God created the land for. So just do your oil palm. Maybe you destroy the wild one and then cultivate the one you want to. And certainly you are going to get a good sources out of that. If you go there and oil palm is doing well, so okay, oil palm resembles coconut. Maybe it's a waterlogged area. You will not do any intervention. So you want to plant the coconut, you will run at a loss because it's oil palm. There's no coconut. Coconut likes water, but not waterlogged or swampy, too soil area. That's why I live for rice farming and low funds. If it can support rice farming, the natural or the wild one, and you say you want to plant coconut, then you have to make sure that you have good drainage system. Without the drainage, your coconut will suffer.
And you just also answer the question of every region in Ghana and the type of crops that they are known for. So yeah, once you are in the north and you know that there is too much sunshine and less water, coconut might be best to grow in there. So you look for what crop are good for both places out there. So yes, it plays down to every region and what's best they are known for
Exactly.
to grow in terms of what you do.
You certainly not go to maybe Western North and decide that you are going to cultivate something, maybe date. You probably go into cocoa because that's the
Yeah.
or you go then you want to be different, so you want to probably do cashew. It will do well, but cashew has a belt, so it's always better to study the vegetation, what it supports, and if you want to be different, then if there is any intervention you need to put in place, make sure that is also done. Otherwise, you will create problem for yourself.
Okay. So yeah, so after acquiring the land, clearing it, going by the option of whether I'm burning it or leaving it for it to how do you call it? To serve as a rot and serve as a manure for the soil. When next do I go to?
Yeah, so now you have to get your seedlings to plant. So the seedlings, make sure you get it from the right source. Right source, that you are sure of the genetics.
Okay.
You can trace. If you want certificates, you can go back to the institution and get it. It will not disappoint you. If they say it's dwarf, and 3 years it will start bearing fruits. 3 years, truly.
To start very
I've seen some farm that the owner said, "Oh, this one is they said 3 years," and I have been monitoring the farm. I think it's now in their 6th year.
wow. That's time.
It's not bearing fruits. Those that started last year is not really encouraging. The yield is not encouraging.
Or is it like there's a seedling that was no good, or they sold a fake seedling?
Because you some of the things we have the wild one, which takes 7 years. So if the person come, the fact that the person is saying that is dwarf, it's 3 years. Some people will say 2 years. And that doesn't change it won't change the genetics. Okay. But you definitely, he or she might have taken the money. So you wait 3 years.
I wonder what you were there waiting for fruits and they're not coming. But speaking of the various species, or let me say the varieties we have in coconut, what are the various ones? You maybe heard the wild ones, the black. What are the various?
As for the wild one, I wouldn't advise anybody to go in. You either do the hybrid or the dwarf one. There are varieties of them. You can see the one here. It's yellow. There are some which are green. Different. Some even come red.
Red walnuts. Yeah. But this type, was it the hybrid or the dwarf?
This one is a hybrid, but it's the yellow type. So there are a lot of them, and each of them it depends on what you intend using it for. For example, if you want to produce oil, you need to seek technical advice, because there are some that will give you a lot of oil. There are some, if you are just doing it for the fruits, fresh one, which they sell, that one too is also different. And so you have all these that you can look at. So you need to get the right seedling. So you have the wild one. Wild one certainly, and they will start bearing after 7 years. And for sure, the wild one, you have more than 50% chance of it being attacked by the coconut disease.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay. Now, what disease is that?
I think it's Cape Simple Wilt disease. And when it attacks, it will dry it up. The coconut will be there. Everything will die. And it spreads very fast. If you are not careful, you will think that somebody has sprayed
Sounds on my farm.
chemicals on them. And once one is attacked, it moves quickly to the other one. That's why they've produced the hybrid and the other varieties, which are resistant to the disease. It depends on which one you go for. Some of them, though they are resistant, is not 100%. But I think now they have a lot of it.
Okay. But is there a way I can differentiate the wild one from the hybrid and from the dwarf?
Oh, that will be difficult. Okay. So normally, I deal with the technical officers. They if is the source where you are going for, if it's a trustworthy source. For example, the person has a farm and is the dwarf type. If they are giving you seedlings, for sure, you will get the dwarf type. But seedlings that you cannot trace where it's coming from.
So basically, the wild ones.
Yeah, it's not automatic that it will be the wild one, but you have to be cautious
About it.
because where is it coming from? And the person is telling you, you don't even know where it's coming from, but he's selling it. Especially those that they carry in the vehicle. You know, sometimes they have the seedlings and they are in the car, marketplaces,
Yeah.
areas that are a lot of, and they have the bell.
They are selling coconut
They are selling
seedlings.
coconut seedlings. Those ones, certainly, if you get close to them, you'll be convinced, and for sure, the marketing will tell you that it's a dwarf one, and certainly it's going to start bearing fruit 2.5 years.
Okay.
That is good news. So you will buy,
Yeah.
but when you buy, as to whether it's going to bear
That's where I have for you.
and 2.5 years, if it's not bearing, what are you going to do? Are you going to cut it down? even if you got the person who sold it to you, for some reason, maybe you use the legal system, says okay, I will replace it. 2.5 years,
Gone.
it's gone.
Let's not come and start again. All over again.
So I don't think anybody wants to.
Sure. But which place in Ghana do you say it will be best for people watching as well to go to Konos family to go and get their seedlings from?
For mine, either I joined the Coconut Farmers Association, so they have a program with the Ghana Export Promotion Council.
Okay.
So they have a program where they give their seedlings, and there is a charge because certainly they will have to bring it to you and all those. And so that is one source I have been using. I've also used the CSIR and also the agric stations. The agric stage, the CSIR and agric stations, those I have dealt with is the center, the Oil Palm Research Institute in Kede. I've also dealt with their station in the Agona Panta in the western region, and there is also a station in western region close to Enyinasia. The place is called Menzezo. So those places, but for the Farmers Association, especially the Federation of Coconut Farmers Association, they bring it to me, so I don't go to the station.
Oh, okay.
But because it's a national program, I don't have any doubt.
No, for sure. It's like into
Okay. Because if you want to promote business for export, and you are going to give the farmers the wrong thing, and then the export promotion will not have the.
Sure. Okay. So now let's look at after I've gotten my seedlings and looking the pricing of the seedling. How much does it cost?
So CSIR, when I started with them, was I think it was around 11 cities, and now gradually they've pushed it to, no, it was 10 cities.
That's how long
but
ago?
now, oh, I think 2020. Now it's been pushed to 27 cities.
From 10 cities to 7 cities, yeah.
But for them, it's because of the research, because they have to use scientific methods. So if you get it from there, if you have the money and you can get it from them, 100% sure. But because of the cost, I do the agric stations, you get it less than half the price they'll give you.
Oh, what else?
And then the federation is basically the cost, and like the agric funds. But before they bring it to you, the cost and the hassle is not like going to the agri station or the CSI. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But certainly, I'm sure it's been paid for by somebody.
Sure. So I'll get the seedlings now. Do you know the planting distance that you are producing them?
So the planting distance is the pegging. So when you do the pegging, the directions, the intervals is all mapped out.
Okay.
So when you rub your seedlings, where you put the peg, you remove the peg and then you make the hole and put it in. And there is a way of they plant it. There was a time I saw a YouTube and somebody was teaching how to plant coconut. And the way he was teaching it, I wonder, you have to dig, is it 2 meters
The soil.
in the soil, a certain radius, and then when you finish, you pour this. Hey, so confusing. No, if you follow those ones, you will never plant. But normally, depending on the soil, you just dig a hole that can contain the coconut, especially the seed. Making sure that where the leaves are coming from are not covered, because you need to leave that part off so that if it's attacked by termites, no, it's one of the biggest problems for coconut. If it's attacked by termites, you will easily see it and control them. So you don't need to dig a big hole where you bury the whole thing. I see some people digging a big hole, burying the whole thing with even the leaves, part of the leaves going inside. If the termites are attacking it, you won't know. All you will see is that the coconut is there.
Yeah.
So it's good to make sure that you are taught all these things before you plant. And once you plant, look out for termites. Some places, grass cutters come and chew. Okay. Some places, beetle can attack it. Some places, some diseases could attack it. But if all these things are not problems for you, all you need to do is weed control. So you make sure that the weeds not overgrowing to hide it. Because when that happens, the coconut is not going to
So even have sunlight enough to
be able to zero. The farm must be free of weed at all times. And if that is difficult for you to do, you can adopt different strategies where you do ring weeding. So around the coconut, you weed. And some people will take a row and make a weed along the row. So when they get to the coconut, they expand it and then continue. And then from time to time, the remaining weed are then cleared. If you do that, it also reduces the maintenance cost. Because anytime you need people to weed, it's a cost.
So once you're talking about the ring weeding and all, I'm just looking at the colors.
Yeah,
It's done.
something like this.
If there's weed around it,
Yeah,
and it gives the dead branches too.
exactly. So this one also serves as a mulch for it.
Yeah, also.
So it fertilizes the soil around it. But the coconut root goes deep, then also go horizontally. But you will have most of it just under or around the coconut.
Okay.
Unlike cocoa that grow horizontally. And so that one, if you have your fertilization around it, you are just wasting it.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So the varieties, 3 years is for the short ones, right? For the hybrid,
The dwarf ones, yeah.
and the hybrid, how long does it take?
5 years.
Oh, okay. So it's best if you want your horror to start growing early, go for the dwarf.
And yeah, you know, the dwarf will start bearing fruit early, but it will not last long like the hybrid.
Okay.
So they have their advantages and disadvantages. So if, for example, your aim is do to maintain it for say up to maybe 13 years, it's good to go for the dwarf one.
Will it take longer?
But the yield also different because the dwarf one can produce a lot, but the size of the coconut could also be smaller. But the hybrid is the best. It will not fruiting as early as the dwarf one, but it will last longer. And then it also bear more fruit. And because of its nature, is able to support high yield. If you have a lot of nuts on a bunch, it's able to hold it. But for the dwarf one, the problem is not because the plant itself is small. When the fruit per bunch is a lot, they either become smaller or a lot will fall.
Okay. So the fruit would outweigh the crop, like the plant itself.
Well, the plant will stand, but the everything about the dwarf is small.
So the yield will be smaller, even though it will be a lot of yield, but
The size of the fruit can be smaller.
okay.
You
But what is it a dwarf right or hybrid? No, this is hybrid. But I like the way they are left on it. In the bigger.
so this one it has the strength to carry all of them, and the size is also not bad.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So once I plant the seedlings, I've opened the seedling, let's say from CSIR. I incur, let's say, 30 cedis for getting the seedlings. I come and I'm planting. And first, I wanted to know what the planting distance would be if I'm doing the pegging. Do you have any idea?
Okay, so it depends on the type. If, for example, you are doing the dwarf one, I think you should be aiming at the intervals of 6.5 or 7. 7 meters interval is good. But you can also have it up to 9 meters interval. So if it's tall coconut, then 9 is better because the shadow that will be cast certainly will not fall there. And then there is also a technique that is used. you take the measurement in a triangular form, so that the corners of the triangle will be able to get this. When you're able to do it that way, the shadow will definitely not fall on the next one.
Okay. When you use a triangle approach.
Yeah. But if you do rectangle or other means, you may have the shadow from one coconut tree falling on another. It will be very difficult for you to have the correct distances that will prevent the shadow from falling on another.
At least, so say at least 9 feet by 9 feet interval. No, not feet, meters. Say 9 meters. 9 meters, 9 meters.
the
9 meters by 9 meters interval. Right. Okay. Okay. And I'm making that if I'm using the 9 meters, 9 meters for an acre, but that's for tall ones, though. And the very tall one.
or the dwarf it has, they can be looking at 7 meters, 6.57 meters interval, and then the hybrid anything from 7.5 to 8.5 will also be fine. But the tall one, the wild ones, that one you should be aiming at 9. And the intervals are critical for the yield. Because if they are too close, you only get a good view.
And they used to be competing for nutrients and all of that. Will be cut and then around that.
A shadow, there will be a lot of shadow, so they are not able to.
Let's look at how you can be able to avoid the shadow, because unless will be like, let's say in a line like this, I'm planting 9 meters, 9 meters, 9 meters, or let's say 6.5 square, 6.5 meters from each other. That's where the shadow will be cast, because the shadow is casted based on the position of the sun. So I'm just wondering how that planting dynamics will go.
And when you are doing the lining and pegging and lining, that's when you look at. So you first of all have to identify your south-north direction. And once you get it, using for example, the triangle method, you now take your measurements either westwards or eastwards from your direction. And in so doing, you have one triangle. So you will be forming like a kite.
Okay.
So the distance in between is quite long. It's long time I did math, but if you take
All the sides are all the same.
yeah, if you do your calculation, then you realize that you'll probably be getting more than 12 meters in between. That is the direction in which the shadow will be thrown. So if you have like 12 meters, that's quite long. Human beings, our height 1 point something. So you can imagine 12, almost 12 of that. That's quite long. Yeah. So it will be difficult for shadow to fall on another. So it's all about the techniques in pegging and lining. If you get it correct, this shadow business and your intervals. So if you get that one correct, you solve a lot of the problems.
Yeah, true. I believe to have a good understanding of the shadow and the line and pegging, you have to consult like an expert who can help you do those things. Other than that, you will get a problem with it.
The most important thing about some of these investments is that if you don't know, you are not sure, please don't go and make a mistake, because a mistake done today will be waiting for you maybe 5 years to come. And at that time, you've really wasted your investment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes people assume that the more crops you have on one in a particular area, the better it is. So some will sit, and then they will say, "Oh, one coconut can give me this number of." So if they do the calculations like the plant more coconuts, so if I have 10, at least I can get this. So if on the same piece of land I can do 20, it's not.
Yes,
It doesn't work out like that.
That's a good. That brings my next question. So with the, let's say the dwarf, that's like 6.5 meters and stuff. How many coconut trees do you think averagely or standardly I can have on an acre?
Okay, so on acre, I don't have the figures, but on an acre you probably be looking at 54 to about 60, 65 trees, depending on the intervals. You can have the longer the intervals, the less trees you will have. The shorter the intervals, the more trees you will have. But as I said, don't be over ambitious. We have too many crowded on a piece of land. Ensure good intervals. It helps with the photosynthesis. They are not competing for sunshine. They are not competing for nutrients. Probably the downside of it is that you will have more work to do. But that's the reason why sure you have to maintain the farm. So
Okay. So if I go out here, what's the whole conversation now? It's like when I'm going into commerce farming and I have my own land, the main cost I would incur is people who do the clearing, lining and pegging, and also buying of the seedlings, right? And they'll help me do the planting. And that at least average last most of the cost I would incur.
yeah. So the labor costs, the clearing of the land, the lining, pegging, the seedlings, the planting of the seedling. That's to start with. These are the major labor costs.
Okay, and I'm just looking at how much averagely it will cost amount to just cultivate an acre. Given that you're looking at, let's say, the dwarf one, and it's like, I said 45 to like 65 plants and on the acre. So let's say 50 plants on the acre. That's multiplied by the cost of the tree being like 30 car. That's like I think 1,500.
So yeah, you will spend more than that. If let's assume and by ideal condition using the current rate that was published by CSIR, and you want to go in for the best seedlings with your own arrangement with CSIR. So if you have an acre of land, let's assume that we are probably doing 7.5 intervals. You probably be looking around 60, let's say 60 seedlings per acre.
60, okay.
So if you multiply that by, calculate the second.
Let me get my, also, okay. That's how I have to do the math so that people can get accurate figures. So, yeah, I just so by there, using the 7.5 meters, and you have about 60 of the seedlings that you need to plant. And the current price, how much?
It's 27.
The 60 by 27. That's like 1,720.
Yeah, so, but this is when you have bought it either maybe Kede, not exactly Kede, there is They call the place Kusi, but it's close to Kede.
Okay.
Or maybe from Agona Kwanpa in Western region after Takrady.
Yeah.
Or maybe Menzezo in the Elambela districts. Let's assume that you have a farm like mine in the central region, transportation. Taking the day, so you have to also add the transport charges. And you know how our drivers, how about the charge? This is rare. It's a whole drama. Yes, with you and the driver, and then you bring it. Those who are way to plant for you. Even if you have laborers taking, let's say, 70 or 80 cities as by day, and you have, let's say 60, you want them to do a good job for you. So one will be digging, one will be putting in the seedlings, and maybe you can do that yourself. So you get, if you've done the pegging and lining, yeah, and you can get someone to dig for you, and then you will be planting. And so it means that you will have to pay for one person. If you are combining the charge for digging and planting, and sometimes depending on where you put your seedlings, somebody has to carry it from there to your friend. It's where then because they may discharge it along the road, and somebody has to carry it. So you need to pay for that. If it's one person, two people, you have those who are begging, those who are planting, and then if you haven't done the tagging and lining, it means that you have to combine all those. So and it's quite yeah.
So let's say the transportation, I add extra 1,000 cities for the transportation. To transport it from, buying it from, let's say, CSI or wherever the location is.
Yeah.
Then I'm doing the, those who do the learning and paying for me.
But if you are just getting like 60, probably you know the cocoa sack.
Yeah.
I'm sure sometimes they package it. If you are lucky, depending on the size, you can have 50 in one sack.
Oh,
So that one, maybe a trotro, if you are lucky, and there is a car that move from where you bought it to where your farm is. If you are lucky, then you can.
okay. So we can reduce the transportation to like 500
So this one you can do a calculation.
we can't get exact, but let's give it. I was thinking about like a fair idea roughly how much it would cost cultivating a maker. So at least when you look at some of the extras and the like the margins between it, they'll know okay, roughly how much they can be able to incur when they are done here building the water. You know the figures to be.
Yes, obviously. So
Yeah. But I just want to just give them something because nobody they like to know how much it
so
will
what's
cost.
the idea in that case? Let's say for transport, one bag. Let's say it costs 200 cedis. Okay, to transport the bag containing say 50 or 60, and then probably you'll be looking at that. But if you have a light farm and you have a lot of seedlings,
It will cost
you probably will not be able to give it to a car to take it there.
Yeah.
So you probably have to rent a truck, and that one will come to you. Renting the truck can cost a lot.
we go to the charge for those
the
truck
charge,
people.
the
Yeah, the
charge,
charge. So the lining and pegging, is it that with your where you are, they charge the whole that they'll do?
No, I get it myself.
Oh, okay.
Why should I go for it?
No.
myself have done agric.
So you want to do
So
that?
I understand. See. So I go then. You see, having the north-south direction. Thank God now this is something uh, with the internet. You can have your compass and easily tell, and is they are good. Otherwise, if you don't have compass, either from your phone or whatever, what you can do, you need some time to study that. In that case, in the morning, you determine where the shadow is throwing. Then you can put. So you have one plant, a stick. You put a stick or something, and trace the shadow. In the evening, go back and trace another shadow. It will give you the trace the east west direction. And if you are able to do a perpendicular line across that, you have your north south direction. Then you can start your pegging and lining from there.
Oh, so at least it will help you
And
determine that triangle.
but on the phone, you can easily get
A compass. So once you have the compass,
you determine, and you have to try as much as possible to get it correct. Because that is the basics for errors and everything. Once you are able to determine the north south, if you start your pegging and lining from there, for sure you will get it correct.
Actually. Listen, there has to do a lot of calculations, a lot of theory has to take care of because you have to take a time, look at the sun, tell it's here, look at here, then you can know that down there. It has to,
Yes, if you don't do that, and you just do it because you know the interval. Let's say you just took measurements. You have uh, maybe 7 meters, 7 meters, 7 meters. All of them in a row along the west east direction. What will happen is that in the morning, this shadow falls on this
to Rayaka.
and then by the time it's evening, the shadow has reversed. So the coconut is not going to get the sunshine that it needs. So it's a very critical step in cultivating the coconut. And when you get that correct, you've cleared a major hurdle. The next is the seedlings. You get a correct seedling, then for sure you know that you've really done a good job. Yeah. Then the rest become your weed control. But the weed control, you also need to eat. So you can cultivate maybe cassava. Okay, you can plant other crops or add other crops, anything you need. Potato, tomato.
Can you do plantain in it? Oh, you can do anything. Okay, I'm just thinking of maybe you have to actually go to a particular point in time before you plant those. Because when the first shadow on the no,
If they go to a particular level, the root will all. But when you start fresh, that's the things you can do. So if when you are planting, the most important thing is that you don't let them plant too close to the coconut.
Okay.
If they do that, then let's take for example cassava. Then the cassava trees and their leaf will cover it. So work down would then be with all your nice things.
And even with cassava crop, because it's a root crop, it could be competing with nutrients that even with the coconut.
That is not real.
It's not really. Oh, okay.
It doesn't. You can always replenish these things. So, yeah. But it will also help you in the weed control.
Okay.
Because once in between, you have the cassava, the the cassava shade will also suppress
the weed to the canopy it forms when it grows. Yeah.
yeah. So it's important not to allow just because you are planting coconut to just you spend more on the weed control.
Yeah.
But it's when it gets to a point where cassava, plantain are no longer doing well, then you stop.
Okay.
You stop and then focus on then that's when your actual maintenance start. But if from the beginning you are not able to plant the food crops yourself, or you didn't get anybody to do it for you, then that one, your maintenance has to start from day zero.
So yeah, for the past I was trying to go, let's say roughly 3,000 CDs or 4,000 CDs to, let's say, cultivate an acre. Given because the seedling was around 1,720, the rotation, let's say 500, that would be like around 2,100. Then let's say you didn't just keep to be the holing and the pegging and the weeding and the clearing of the land, the stumps and everything. Let's extra 2,000 cries, so it's for say 4,000 CDs to go about it, which is quite okay. Looking at the prices of coconuts currently in the Russia bracket, it is way okay. But to take time 3 years, different variety are going for. Because currency now, one coconut is like 70 cities. And these are these people. Yes.
I don't buy.
7 cities. It's very expensive.
I see.
7 cities. For coconut to be around 4 cities, 3 cities. I don't know what the price is going to. That also is like 7 cities. And obviously, which people come and pick it from the farms. Madam gets at 7 cities, might give maybe like 5 cities or 4 cities. Which is quite okay. Because if I'm looking at the number of coconuts on this tree, counting all of them, it is too much. The water is on the, let's say, 5 cities in the crowd. That's a lot of money. So yeah, coconut farming, you could see that yes, even though it is, I still feel like it is less capital intensive to go into. And rather you come up much more time, but once you've talked about and you make more money, it's only you get the right season for it to grow well for you. To do. But at least do you think, I know you're not going to the point where you started harvesting, but do you think it's like a profitable business that people can go into it?
Oh, coconut is a profitable farming. If you can compare it with things like it's not too intensive in terms of the but you if you have all the conditions right, then you are likely to get good yield. And depends on how you also handle. Even from the tree to the consumer, in between, there's a lot of value to the additions are a lot. So let's assume that you have your farm and you harvest and you're able to bring it to Accra. You are selling yourself.
That's a lot of money.
So that one, apart from the transportation costs, the labor you use to harvest.
Yeah.
As for the maintenance costs and all those things, that's why you are there. But when you are harvesting, there is a cost to it. So if you're able to bring it to the consumer direct, then the 7 cities will be yours.
Yeah.
So if you take the small charges, the transportation, those harvesters and all that, you definitely make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if you allow people to move from Accra to your farm, then certainly they will cheat you.
Yeah, the price will come down. Some of them
so in that case, it will not be profitable for you. So you have to make sure that once you are into it, you also look at the value additions, which can give you some of the profits that comes with coconut after it has been produced. Otherwise, you let people come. You make some money. I hear some people, those who want to buy, will come with their own laborers. They will climb, harvest. So all you need to do is to go and count.
Yeah.
And then take your money.
But I know for those who come and buy, so those who sell outside, during the harvesting, when they discover that you have coconuts, they do the climbing and harvesting and everything.
Exactly.
And you guys do the counting and just take your money and that's it. Yeah.
So it's not a bad business.
Yeah. At least giving it's being less stressful. Doesn't require much capital to say you are starting. Yeah, all you have to do is just wait. Let the time be up and just be harvesting. And the seasonal, you keep harvesting.
Exactly.
But how many times can I harvest in a year? When it's matured. Do you have any idea?
Well, for example, I know that if you allow it to dry,
Yeah.
every 3 months you can do harvesting.
Okay.
If you don't want to allow it to dry, I'm sure every 3 months each tree should be able to harvest. And depending on the size, you'll be harvesting throughout the year.
You said I said dry. How do you mind if you allow it to
You
dry?
know the copra. If your aim is to produce the copra,
Okay.
which people come to buy,
Sometimes
sometimes
the copia.
the dry one, you know,
okay, the one
the
that has
dry coconut.
okay.
They use it to produce coconut oil,
Okay.
and they use the chaff to feed the pigs and things. There is a lot of values in there,
Okay.
and people come from Nigeria to buy.
Oh.
Oh yeah. You will see big trucks, especially over the weekend. Most of it is coming from the Jomoro district, Hafasini area.
Okay.
And
Fascinating.
they load a lot of it, and then it goes. I'm told it goes to Nigeria, but I'm sure the market is there, so
Yeah, that's
they will
right.
come and
That the raw materials.
so you either harvest it when it's fresh
Or leave it to
for
dry.
consumption, or you leave it to dry. And when it's dry, that one it will fall by itself. So you pick them and then
Okay.
you count and sell. If you also want to produce the oil for different things, you can also do. You know, once you produce the oil, people need it for soap, for cosmetics, for cooking, and all that. So it's also
Yeah, like I say,
another.
the value chain and value addition helps. Like if you were able to add value to raw material, you make a lot of money. Yeah, make a lot of money.
And then the husk, those who also whether fresh or dry, those who are producing the peat
Cocoa peat.
for
The greenhouse farming.
they also, I think they are making money
Yeah, those are make money.
because
lots of
now I think a bag is like 30 Ghana cedis or something.
For the cocoa peats one.
Yeah. A small bag.
Nice.
30 Ghana. I don't know how many, but these are ways that otherwise will be thrown away.
Yeah.
So if you, and you know, waste in Ghana is a big problem. So if we are able to use the coconut waste for something like this,
To help.
it's very good.
Yeah. Because sometimes, even not to catch it, sometimes those who even sell the coconut fresh, after they are done selling the textile, whereas that they just go and dispose the remains, like the outer part and other things, just outside, just like that.
Yeah.
You don't have any.
Which is
proper
also
waste.
another nuisance.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's a good addition for farming.
Yeah.
You can see the the tomatoes, the pepper, the vegetables that are produced using this cocoa peat.
They grow very well, very
Oh,
well.
very well.
Yeah, very
In
well.
fact, the way it is more fertile than even the fertilizer that we know.
But it's interesting to know that without, we call it soilless media, so without soil, we can able to grow crops using just coconuts, like the cocoa peats that they do. First time that I heard of it, I was shocked. I was shocked.
So it depends. It depends on what. Certainly, you need some medium to hold the water, but not as you are doing it on the soil. So if you have, let's take for example, poultry manure, add few, or maybe cow dung, or anything that's animal droppings, plus some soil. You don't need much, but it's just to retain moisture for and because of circulation of air, it helps with the plant to grow very well. And I believe that in future this may be one of the major means of producing food.
Okay. We will discard the soils and go by the.
Now, if you go to many places, the galamsey, the galamsey is destroying everything. What can you grow?
More on the tree.
And the population is increasing. So the sad aspect is that even when the land is not damaged, the yield you can have per acre is also reducing. But the population is increasing, so ideally the yield per unit land should increase. But how do you increase it when you have depleted and destroyed? So these are the other means.
Yeah. And even that's even population increase, there will be more urbanization with building structures and all, so to cover most part of their life.
Exactly.
So we just have to follow on this cocoa peat and these things to be growing and stuff.
Those hold a big hope for the future.
Okay. So we will end this video here. Very final message for those watching as who want to go into coconut farming, considering coconut as a source of investment that they want to venture into. What advice will you give them?
Okay, I would say that coconut farming is less stressful compared to things like cocoa. So it's a good investment. Just make sure that your land is within the zone that supports coconut cultivation. Rainfall pattern and all those. Make sure you have the right seedlings, and please don't allow anybody to come and say sweet things for you to regret after maybe the promised harvesting or bearing age. Also make sure you have a plan to maintain the farm, weeding and all those. So relatively it's not too stressful. So it's a good area that anybody can
Venture into.
Yeah.
Personally, honestly, those that who say they want to go into farming, I always advise do perennial crops, and some of these coconut is also one of them.
Yeah.
It takes time. When you're harvesting, you can come down when it's close to the harvesting time. Harvest, count your money, you are good to go. When you go back, it's less stressful. You don't have to always be managing it, telling someone to do this, and the person is not doing it. Having cameras, most of them might not need all of these.
Oh,
it will be easy to manage to some extent.
Camera has a limitation. Camera has a limitation.
It will be easy to manage to some extent. So yeah, if it's something that you feel like you want to do, you have a land, you don't know what to do, you can try and invest in these things because the prices keep going up for coconuts. Like people keep buying coconuts and the price keep going. Like I said, currently it's like 7 cities. In some places, you even get at 10 cities for one. That's how the prices are going for. And as these sellers are selling at these prices, it means that the price they come and take it from me, even if it's half of the price, it's still okay because the coconuts. Imagine I have 60 coconut trees on an acre. Each of them fruiting like this, just plenty coconuts. Just imagine. Counting each of them.
That's why I think you can count like 16 or 18.
From the other side, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So imagine if let's say
if
each
you
of
do
them.
this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
A lot.
13. That's a lot.
It should be like 50 coconuts on this tree.
Yes.
Let's say 50. let's say 50. 50.
Uh,
And I multiply each of them by like let's say 3 cities or 4 cities. Yeah. 3 cities or 4 cities. That's like 50 by 3, that's like 150 cities, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
you
having
can,
60
you,
of
can,
these.
you can also look at the other.
The value additions and other things you can do. Yeah.
Because if you are outside, I'm sure definitely you will enter one of these supermarkets where they sell all these natural things.
Yeah.
If you see something labeled virgin oil, it definitely is coconut.
Yeah.
Coconut is virgin. and it's super expensive. So once you are there, you can explore the market and come and give us
Yeah, you can
a good advice so that we can
and stuff. Yeah.
you can establish the link for us. We produce the virgin oil. You go and sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can also tap into
The market outside.
the market outside.
So it's profitable, honestly.
The local market is good. Like you said, even those buying to drink the water, you buy maybe this bottled water, probably 2 cities, 3 cities.
Yeah.
But the coconut water,
Yeah. And one is close to
buy
my
like 7
place.
cities.
Yeah, one like they have this bottle, and the guy sells it for 25 cedis or so to fill the bottle up for you with the coconut water. And I think he uses 3 of the coconut or 2 of the coconuts just to fill it up.
Okay.
It's for you to get to the full sound. So imagine even if it's 7 cedis, I don't buy the price like 21 cedis, but it sells for like 25 or 30 cedis. So because of the price,
So
he's making like an extra money on it.
yeah,
So even if
And-
selling fresh, you make more money.
and a lot of businesses emerging from it.
Yeah.
You know, when we are on the road, you see trucks. That's what they do. They transport those who load, offload.
Yeah.
You see people also loading the waste for cocoa production or to
yeah.
go and dispose it off.
Yeah.
All these are businesses that are created for. So it's good.
The value addition is crazy, and it's something that people can venture to say. Yeah, this has been a lengthy conversation. I believe we learned a thing or two. Me, what I think I will be the planting with the shadows falling on it. I think I've done a video on coconut farming, and I didn't get to know about that. But this one I've learned that I have to take care of that when they are planting so that the shadow doesn't fall on it and all. Yeah, so that's it. Something I'm taking away. Let me know what you're also taking away from this video. As you are watching. But yeah, this would end the video on coconut farming. I believe you've learned a thing or two. If you have any questions, Mr. Nicholas's number will be there, or Dr. Nicholas's number will be there. I don't know how you say Mr. Nicholas. Dr. Nicholas's number will be there. You know, reach out to him, and at least you can ask some questions. If you can be able to answer, he will be of assistance to you as well. So like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.